The day Uncle David passed away unexpectedly, my David fainted from grief. When he woke up, he had forgotten the 7 years of deep love we shared and believed himself to be Uncle David. The doctor said it was a trauma-induced disorder, a result of his inability to accept Uncle David's death. My family asked me to be there for him, hoping he would slowly recover his memory. For half a year, I went from anger and quarrels to heartbreak and despair, finally compromising for the sake of our child. Until today, when Sarah spoke to my David in their native language right in front of me, "We're about to have our wedding, aren't you going to tell her the truth? Plains tradition dictates that your brother's death makes you my husband. Besides, if you had stayed in the plains back then, we would have been married long ago. She wouldn't even be in the picture. Don't forget, you've always loved me, she's just a substitute." The glass in my hand shattered on the floor, and the shards cut into my feet. So, his amnesia had been a charade for the past 6 months, a ploy to take 2 wives and get close to his widowed sister-in-law, his long-cherished obsession. David's family had never liked me. To please them, I had learned their native language long ago. Those once unfathomable words now tore my heart to shreds. I turned to leave, but Sarah stopped me. "Hey, do you have any manners? Are you going to leave the mess you made for me to clean up?" I crouched down, my trembling fingers repeatedly sliced by the sharp glass. The pain was intense, but nothing compared to the ache in my heart. David said coldly, "Emily has been with me for so many years and we have a child. I can't just abandon her. Then tell her the truth. Make her accept me as the senior wife and her as the junior. Besides, I'm carrying your child. I know how much she loves me, she can't live without me. When the time is right, I'll regain my memory and have her accept us living together as a trio." A pile of broken glass, like the fragments of my shattered heart, impossible to pick up completely with trembling hands. David suddenly stopped me. "Don't pick it up, your hands are covered in blood. Let me bandage them for you." I looked up at him, his eyes, eyebrows, and lips were just as they always were, the image I loved so deeply. For him, I had defied my family's objections and followed him for 7 years without a title, and we already had a 5-year-old daughter. I slowly pulled my hand away from his. "Uncle David, I'm your sister-in-law. It's not appropriate for you to hold my hand like this in front of your Sarah." Seeing the astonishment on David's face, I forced a smile with my chapped lips. It was the first time I had called him Uncle David since he feigned amnesia. David reached out to grab me, but I walked away without looking back. My ridiculous compromises for love over the past 6 months were coming to an end. After going out, I made a phone call. "Uncle Mike, can you help me with my daughter's visa? I want to go home, the sooner, the better." "Emily, that's wonderful. The visa will probably take a week. I'll have someone take you to the airport in 7 days. Your dad will be overjoyed. Aren't you getting a visa for your husband too? Although your dad doesn't approve of your marriage, he is a softie. Go back and coax him, Anne." I calmly interrupted, Uncle Mike, just mine and my daughter's, please." When I picked Lily up from preschool, she pouted with disappointment when she only saw me. "Mom, is Dad still sick? When will he remember me?" My heart ached like it was being torn in two. I knelt down and looked earnestly into my daughter's eyes. "Sweetie, I'm sorry. Mom was wrong. Dad isn't sick." My daughter looked at me, not quite understanding. I held back the tears in my eyes and comforted her. "Mommy is going to take you on a trip. We can ski and fish there. Would you like that?" "Yes." I took my daughter home. Before I could even enter the doorstep, Sarah blocked my path. "The doctors have found a way to cure David's amnesia." Sarah's eyes held a mocking glint. "That is for me to have a wedding with him. The doctors say that David has too much of an obsession in his heart. Over the years, he couldn't let go of me, plus the death of his brother. In his heart, he wants to take care of me, so he imagined himself as my dead husband." I didn't say a word, quietly meeting her gaze. Sarah smiled and said, "Then you'll have to suffer. Maybe one day he'll remember you." "Oh, right." She looked at my daughter and smiled. "What's her name?" "Lily Wilson, right? It's a very good name. Watching Sarah's departing figure, my nails dug deeply into my palms. My daughter's name was Lily Wilson. When David found out I was pregnant with a daughter, he was ecstatic. He even lost control and picked me up and spun me around. Green leaves become a forest. Emily, should we name our daughter Lily Wilson? Emily was a complete joke. Even my daughter, whom I gave birth to at the risk of my life, became a memorial to David's love for Sarah. Lily gently shook my hand. Mom, what did Uncle David's wife mean? I didn't know how to explain it to my 5-year-old daughter, so I silently took her back to our room. After Lily fell asleep, David unexpectedly came into my room. He looked at me with complex emotions, but I had no desire to decipher them. Is there something you need? My attitude startled David, and he was speechless. I found it amusing, recalling my own madness when he first pretended to have amnesia. Back then, I clung to him tightly, trying to drag him back to our room. I pleaded in his ear, David, make love to me. Just once, and you'll remember everything. We're so compatible, so in love. How could you become Uncle David? But he avoided me like the plague, hiding in Sarah's room every day before dark. I had even fantasized that even if they were in the same room, he would never touch Sarah. But reality slapped me hard in the face. I once stood outside Sarah's room, listening to their moans and gasps as they gave themselves to love. Emily, you're so pathetic, you deserve to be treated like a fool. Snapping out of my memories, I looked at David coldly. Is there something you need? If not, please leave, I want to rest. David's face turned ugly. Emily, you always say that I love you, so I'm going to follow the doctor's advice and have a wedding with Sarah again in 7 days. 7 days? That was also the day I was leaving. My question seemed to please David. His eyes flashed with a strange light. Emily, don't be angry. I'm only getting married to see if it can bring back those memories you talk about. Seeing the calculation on David's face, I suddenly laughed. He had been pretending to have amnesia for 6 months, and I had been hysterical for 6 months. What did it matter if I humored him for 7 more days? I lowered my head, my voice mournful. The wedding you once promised me, you're now giving to her. If you weren't sick, if I didn't love you, David looked pained. He seemed unable to control himself and wanted to pull me into his arms, but I immediately dodged away. He looked surprised, and I continued, I won't stay here that day. David, I'll take Lily to White Sea and wait for you. You know where to find me. White Sea was where we fell in love. We would stay at Rocky Mountain Lodge for a while every year. My words seemed to reassure him. His tone became distant again. Then you should rest. It's not appropriate for me to be in your room this late. Your Sarah is still waiting for me. Can't you stay? You haven't spent time with me and Lily in a long time. David frowned at me, as if looking at something dirty. After a moment, he turned and left, saying before he went out, Emily, don't push your luck. I'm already humoring Sarah by marrying her again for you. That's already a concession. You wouldn't be so disgusting as to want me to sleep with you, would you? Don't forget, I'm your Uncle David. The next day, after dropping Lily off at kindergarten, I found a large cardboard box and started packing. To awaken him, I had filled every corner of the home with photos of the 3 of us. Looking back, it was pathetic and laughable that I thought I could wake up someone who was pretending to be asleep. I gathered all the photos together and packed all the things related to David and me, including his clothes in the closet, and took them to the incinerator. Watching everything turn to ashes, David died completely in my heart. Exhausted, I returned home, intending to rest before picking up Lily, but when I opened the door, I saw David's mom and sister. As soon as she saw me, his sister mocked in their native language, Erica, your brother is going to marry her, and this woman is not serving you to please you, but she dares to run around. She doesn't know the rules of how to be a junior wife. Erica, Sarah said with a grievance in her voice, your brother told me that she is not from our tribe. You can't accept polygamy, so I have to hide it from her. She's crazy, don't provoke her. Crazy? Erica, am a wild horse of the prairie. She wants to compete with me in craziness? Looking at her weak and frail appearance, she's not worthy of my brother. Sister-in-law, she's just taking advantage of your good nature. Let me teach her a lesson, so she doesn't become unruly in the future. I pretended not to understand and turned to go back to my room, but Erica blocked my path. She stood in front of me, taller and sturdier than me. My sister-in-law is a child of the prairie. What are you, bullying her? I stared at her for a long time before saying softly, I didn't. Please let me pass. I want to go back to my room. Let you pass? Okay, our tribe values strength. You compete with me. If you win, I will listen to you. If you lose, you kneel on the ground and apologize to my sister-in-law, and from now on, she will. I'll let you go east, and you are not allowed to go west. Before I could speak, she used a shoulder throw to knock me to the ground. I was dizzy, and her fists rained down on me. I couldn't resist at all and could only curl up to protect myself. I didn't know how long it lasted before she put her foot on my face and joked with her family in their native language. This kind of woman doesn't even deserve to lick my brother's toes. My body ached all over, and I wanted to push her away, but I had no strength. Suddenly, I heard Lily's voice from outside the door, Mommy, Dad came to pick me up today. I'm so happy. Dad said he would take me skiing and fishing. No, don't come in. I cried out, not wanting Lily to see me in such a mess. David's voice came closer, Emily, aren't you taking care of your own child? If the preschool hadn't called me. Mommy, who are you? You bad person, why are you stepping on my mommy? Go away, don't touch my mommy. Dad, save mommy. Mommy hurts, mommy is going to cry. David's face showed pity and reluctance, but just as he moved toward me, Sarah stopped him with a sentence in their native language. If you want her to be obedient, you have to tame her, like how we tame eagles on the prairie. Once you break her spirit, she'll listen to you. My heart died, and tears streamed down my dry eyes. Lily was still crying, save my mommy. Don't hit her. You're not my dad. My dad wouldn't treat me and mommy like this. I endured the pain and crawled to Lily with all my strength. Sweetie, are you okay? Mommy is here, don't be afraid. Tell mommy where it hurts. After holding Lily in my arms, I cried loudly and desperately grabbed everything I could reach, throwing it at their family. Sarah screamed and hid in David's arms. David wrapped his arms around her waist to protect her. Brother, sister-in-law is hurt, she has a cut on her leg. I looked at Sarah's less than 10-centimeter scratch, then at my own body covered in injuries and my daughter cry. In my arms. I couldn't control myself and cried loudly. David looked at me and Lily with reluctance and struggling in his eyes. Sarah cried in his arms, my leg hurts so much, and my stomach hurts too. He stared at Lily and me for a long time, then seemed to make up his mind, picked up Sarah, and the family walked away. Trembling, I found my phone. Hello, I want to report an assault. Someone attacked me and my daughter. The address is XXX. Please send an ambulance. I held on until the last second, until the police and ambulance arrived. Seeing the paramedics coming in with a stretcher, I closed my eyes. I woke up the next day in the hospital. David was sitting by my bed, looking concerned. Where's my daughter? Emily, don't get so excited. Your daughter is fine. The nurse just took her to get a blood test. Erica didn't use much force, she just pushed her away. I looked at David seriously for a long time. The man who loved his daughter more than anything, the man who would fight anyone over a scratch on my skin, was gone. The man I had loved for 7 years was truly dead. Didn't I call the police? Where are they? David said helplessly, Emily, it's such a small matter. Why did you call the police? I already canceled it for you. I told them it was a family dispute. You're my sister-in-law, and Erica has always been like that since she was little. Why are you arguing with her? Just stay out of her way next time. I looked at him in disbelief. Who gave you the right to cancel my call to the police? Did I agree to it? Don't be ridiculous, Emily. I've already agreed to try to regain my memory. What else do you want me to do? Don't worry. Even if I don't remember anything, I'll take care of you and your daughter in the future. The only condition is that you can't be jealous of Sarah. After all, she's my wife. I picked up things from the bed and threw them at him. Get out. Get out of here. I don't want to see you again. David sighed helplessly. You see, can't be like this when I regain my memory. In the plains, men are superior, and you can't say things like get out anymore. Get out. I sat on the hospital bed, crying uncontrollably, until Lily's soft body hugged me. Mommy, does it hurt a lot? I'll kiss it and make it better. I couldn't speak, so I just held Lily in my arms. Mommy, Dad is a bad man. They all bullied you. I don't want him anymore. Ms. Smith said that if Mom and Dad get divorced, the kid has to choose one. Mommy, I choose you. Mommy, I love you. Mommy, don't die. After saying that, she cried in my arms again. My heart ached, and I held her tightly, comforting her. I stayed in the hospital for 4 days, and David didn't show up. On the last day, he came. He was wearing a sharp suit with a groom boutonniere on his chest, standing in front of Lily and me. Emily, for you, I'm going to find my memories. You can't stand the thought of me marrying someone else, so I bought you a plane ticket to White Sea. Take Lily there and wait for me. If everything is as you say and I deeply love you, then I'll come find you. Looking down at the plane ticket and documents in my hand, I felt nothing but irony and amusement. Looking at David's face now, I felt no love, only disgust. I sneered, are you so confident that I'll wait for you? Emily, if the love between us is really as you say, then I believe you will. Besides, Lily needs her dad. I laughed out loud. Okay, go get married. I'll wait for you. David walked away without looking back. Soon after he left, a limousine arranged by Uncle Mike pulled up to the hospital. Before getting on the plane, I took the SIM card out of my phone and threw it in the trash can. David, 7 years of deep love ended in nothing but disgust. I hope I never see you again in this life. As I held my daughter, sleeping soundly on the plane, David was having his wedding. If I had been there, I would have seen that everything at his and Sarah's lawn wedding was exactly as He had promised me before. Even the bouquet in Sarah's hand was the way he had once described it to me. All the plans I thought he had for our future now belonged to Sarah. But David seemed distracted. He kept dialing my phone, muttering to himself. What's going on? The plane to White Sea should have landed long ago. Why is the phone still unreachable? Panic filled David's eyes. Although he was confident that I loved him deeply and wouldn't leave, this inexplicable panic reached its peak when he called Rocky Mountain Lodge and found out that I hadn't checked in. He quickly called the airline, but was told that I hadn't boarded the plane. He panicked even more. Even when the wedding host came to tell him that the bride was waiting for him, he looked lost. When it was time for the wedding, Sarah came to take his arm. He looked at her blankly. Sarah, Emily is gone. A look of joy flashed in Sarah's eyes, but she quickly suppressed it. David, she loves you so much, and you have a daughter together. She won't run away. After the wedding, you can go find her. Plead with her a few times, and she'll come back to you. You're a great man of the prairie. You've tamed thousands of eagles. Surely, you can tame Emily. David nodded. He thought, yes, I loved him so much that I wouldn't even go home for him. I could even give birth to a daughter for him without a title. As long as he was willing to lower his head and beg, I would definitely come back to him. Sarah, I'll go find Emily after the wedding and tell her that I've regained my memory. From now on, you'll have to be more considerate of her. If I had heard this, I would have laughed out loud at the wedding. Even now, David was still dreaming of taking 2 wives. As soon as the wedding ended and he returned home, David couldn't wait to find me. Sarah pulled him back. David, tonight is our wedding night. Can you bear to leave me alone in my empty room? David pushed her away. My disappearance had filled him with extreme fear. He suddenly remembered something I had once said to him. David, I hate being deceived the most. If one day I find out. But I was interrupted before I could finish. He told me, Emily, I love you. I'll never deceive you. David's heart was now gripped by fear and pain. So, he ignored Sarah's pleas and returned to our room to look for clues about where I had gone. But he suddenly realized that the room was empty. Even his clothes in the closet were all gone. He frantically searched the home for the things I had burned to ashes, but unfortunately, he found nothing. Trembling, he picked up his phone and dialed Uncle Mike's number after thinking for a long time. If I had foreseen all of this, I would have told Uncle Mike about my break with David from the beginning. Unfortunately, I didn't have the ability to see the future. I didn't know any of this. After a 10-hour flight, I landed in the United States with my daughter the next day. As I held Lily's hand and walked out of the airport, I saw my dad. 5 years ago, I had insisted on pursuing love and following David. My dad strongly disagreed. We hadn't seen each other since I left in anger. Seeing my dad again now, he seemed thinner, and his temples showed streaks of white hair. The man who used to carry me on his back was getting old. A wave of sadness washed over me, and I couldn't help but run over and hug him, choked with emotion. Dad. My dad patted my back. It's good to be back. Is this Lily? Oh, she's so big. Grandpa will hold you. My dad picked up my daughter, overjoyed. Emily, she looks just like you when you were little. We went home happily. After a simple meal, I put Lily to sleep and my phone rang. I answered the phone, and as soon as I said Uncle Mike, David's furious voice came from the other end of the line. Emily, how could you just take Lily and leave? What do you take me for? You promised to wait for me at White Sea. You actually took our child and ran back to your parents' home? There was noise on the phone, and I heard Uncle Mike telling David to give the phone back, but David refused. After some struggling, Uncle Mike got the phone. He said apologetically, Emily, I didn't know things had gotten so bad between you two. I'm really sorry. If I had known, I wouldn't have helped him make this call. I felt extremely embarrassed and guilty and quickly said, Uncle Mike, please don't say that. It's my fault for not handling things properly. Don't worry about it. I'll call David myself. You should get some rest. After repeatedly apologizing to Uncle Mike, I dialed David's number. He answered the phone extremely quickly. Emily, I remember everything. I'm sorry, sweetie. I miss you so much. I know you're angry with me, that's why you didn't wait for me at Rocky Mountain Lodge. But it's good that you're home. I can visit your dad. Haven't you always wanted me to come to your home? Hearing his words, I felt no emotion, only endless coldness. I had always begged him to come back and see my dad with me, in order to gain my dad's forgiveness. I had applied for visas hundreds of times, but he never came. Every time we were about to leave, something or other would always interrupt. He would hold me and say, Emily, I'm sorry. We'll definitely go next time. Later, I realized that he didn't want to come, because he knew my dad didn't like him, so he didn't want to face my dad's coldness. Although I was bothered by it, I no longer brought up the subject of going home. Now that I had decided to completely cut ties with him, what was he doing here? Seeing that I was unmoved, David's expression became even more mournful. He said tearfully, I remembered everything halfway through the wedding. Emily, you were right. The person I love is you. I was confused and did something so awful. Please forgive me and come home with me. Looking at David's brilliant performance, I couldn't help but laugh. After a moment, I looked into his eyes and essay. ID one sentence. David, I know everything. I said this in their native language. David's face turned deathly pale as he looked at me in disbelief. I continued to speak in their native language. 3 years ago, your family refused to let me go back to the prairie with you. In order for them to accept me and Lily, I've been learning your language. A faint smile played on my lips as if I were telling someone else's story, but unfortunately, the first time I used it was when I overheard you and Sarah plotting how to use amnesia to trick me into accepting polygamy. David's lips trembled, and he couldn't say a word. No, Emily, let me explain. Sarah and we have this tradition in the plains. Now that my brother is gone, I have a responsibility to take care of her. I was just afraid that you wouldn't be able to accept it, so I came up with this idea. I scoffed coldly. So, you took care of Sarah in bed and got her pregnant. You are so shameless, David. Don't look for me anymore. Get out of here. I was blind to have ever loved you. From today onwards, we have nothing to do with each other. David took a step forward and tried to grab my hand, but I slapped him across the face. He stared at me blankly. Emily, I actually love you, but I was afraid of losing you, that's why I lied to you. Emily, we loved each other so much, have you forgotten? You once told me that love makes everything possible. Can't you accept Sarah for the sake of loving me? I've given her a child now, and a wedding. If you really can't accept this tradition of the prairie, I'll let her go back with my mom, and you'll never see her again. Would that work? Listening to his bizarre remarks, I suddenly felt pathetic and ridiculous for having once been willing to go through fire and water for love. David, please don't say the word love again. You don't deserve it. Besides, the so-called love you speak of disgusts me just thinking about it. Please don't ever appear in front of me again. After saying that, I ignored his shouts and turned to go home. David shouted at my back, Emily, I've figured it out. If you really can't accept it, then I'll let her go. Can you give me a little more time? The person I love is you, and even if you don't forgive me, our daughter still needs her dad. Without turning my head, I sneered coldly, Get out, David. Get out of my world, and from now on, we'll be strangers forever. I didn't care when David left. In the days that followed, I was very busy every day. Busy finding a preschool for my daughter, finding a tutor. Busy taking my daughter around to adapt to the environment and make new friends. After my dad found out about me and David from Uncle Mike, he somehow discovered that Erica had taken the opportunity to beat me. He spent money and effort and found some people who had been treated violently by Erica, and they jointly reported the case. I heard that when the police came to the door, Erica was being pinned down and punched by David. Seeing the police, Erica seemed to see a savior. She opened her swollen mouth and shouted, Officer, you've come at the right time. Arrest him quickly. David is crazy. He's actually hitting me for a weak woman. Arrest him quickly. But David was fearless and showed no mercy in front of the police. Didn't you challenge Emily like that back then? Why can't I hit you like this? Aren't you just bullying her because no one was protecting her back then? But she's my wife, you know that? You're the one who forced her away. Prairie challenge rules, even if I beat you to death, I will not be responsible. No one could hold David back. Even the police called for backup, and it took several people to barely pull him away. Erica said tremblingly, Arrest him, put him in jail, he's crazy. But the police took out handcuffs and took Erica away on the grounds of causing injury resulting in disability. Erica shouted loudly, I'm the victim, why are you arresting me? You should de-arrest David, you've arrested the wrong person. But no one paid any attention to her. When I heard about these things, I didn't feel anything in my heart, and I was playing with my painting knife in my hand. In the days when I returned home, I picked up my old hobby again and greeted the paint every day, enjoying it. My dad secretly sized me up for a long time, and then a happy expression appeared on his face. From that day on, he began to arrange blind dates for me. After unknowingly entering many dinner parties, I had an open and honest conversation with my dad. Why be a stay-at-home mom when being a stay-at-home daughter is so much better? This is the truth I've only recently begun to understand. My dad sighed for a long time, then patted me on the shoulder. Emily, your mom passed away early, and I raised you as both a dad and a mom since you were little. Dad can still afford to raise you for the rest of your life and Lily for the rest of her life. If you don't want to get married, then so be it, but Dad wants you to be happy. From that day on, I lived a free life. After settling down, I used my dad's connections to change my daughter's name. Lily, my Emily's treasure for life. Lily Wilson, go to hell. One late night half a month later, I suddenly received a call from David. He was crying on the phone. Emily, I was wrong, so wrong. It was all Sarah who lied to me. My brother's death was also because of her. The child in her belly isn't mine at all. Sarah and her lover killed my brother and framed me with the child in her belly. Emily, I was deceived so badly that I lost you and our daughter. Emily, wife, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I miss you so much, I miss you and our daughter. There were no waves in my heart, and without saying a word, I hung up and blacklisted his number. This was already the countless time I had blacklisted a call from him. Belated affection is worthless. David is such a disgusting thing. Later, I heard from a free ND in the US that David went home one day and saw Sarah in bed with a man, and that's how he found out the truth. He was furious and dragged Sarah to the hospital for a DNA test the next day. As he expected, the child in Sarah's belly was neither his nor his brother's. David slapped her twice and asked her why she did this. But Sarah mocked him in public. What are you pretending for, David? You slept with me so many times, did I force you? You're the most disgusting person. You said you loved me back then and tricked me into following you at the age of 18, but when you found out that your brother wanted to marry me, you left me on the prairie and left without looking back. Your brother died, and you couldn't wait to sleep with me behind his mourning hall. What inheritance of a widowed sister-in-law from the prairie? No one can force you if you don't want to. David trembled with anger, but couldn't say a word. Sarah looked at him mockingly. You say you blame me. What right do you have to blame me? Pretending to have amnesia was also your own act. You wanted to sleep with me and Emily. I don't think you're disgusting, but you dare to dislike me. David couldn't help but curse and kicked Sarah in the stomach without mercy at the hospital. Emily, you don't know, Sarah's belly was already very big at the time, and with that kick, blood immediately flowed all over the floor. I heard people say that when she was sent in for rescue, the baby's head was already out, and there was no way to save it. It directly became a stillbirth. I listened silently, occasionally echoing softly, without expressing any other opinions. After my friend vividly told me all this, she once again said with relief, Emily, it's a good thing you left him. David is a terrible man, simply an abyss. I smiled, chatted with her for a while, and hung up the phone. The days were fulfilling and slow. I heard that David was later sued by Sarah and spent a few years in jail for assault. But those things had nothing to do with me. After that day, I never received another call from David. I became an unambitious stay-at-home daughter, spending my dad's money to take good care of myself and Lily. Just when I thought that there would be no more interaction with David in this life, he appeared in front of me again. That day was an evening. The sun was setting. After Lily and I finished dinner, we walked home slowly, and he was standing one step away from us. He was thin, his face was as white as paper, his clothes were wrinkled, and his eyes were hungrily staring at me and my daughter. There seemed to be a myriad of emotions in his eyes, but he didn't dare to take a step closer. I held my daughter's hand and walked past him as if nothing had happened. He gripped the hem of his pants tightly, as if trying to find the courage to say hello. Mom, Ms. Smith praised me for doing very well today. Will you reward me? Of course, sweetie, what reward do you want? Tell Mom, anything is fine, I'll listen to you. Yay, Mom is the person I love the most, moi. I didn't even spare David a glance, and even when I heard him call my name in a hoarse voice, I turned a deaf ear. After hesitating for a long time, he seemed to finally muster up the courage to approach us. But then he heard his daughter say in a childish voice, Mom, is that a homeless man? He looks so pitiful. David's advancing steps stopped in place and never moved forward again. Many years later, when my daughter grew up, I finally couldn't help but ask her if she really didn't recognize David at the time. But she said nonchalantly, actually, I had already recognized who he was at that time, but I knew that he had bullied Mom too much, so I did it on purpose. Mom, don't be sad, I'm enough for you. I was moved to tears. If she did it on purpose, then so be it. I didn't care, as long as my daughter was happy. Even when I later heard that David eventually died of liver cancer due to excessive drinking and had no money for treatment, I didn't have a trace of sympathy. Only when he died in agony and a funeral was held did I take my daughter to send a flower.